Thursday morning right here in the city of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. And as always, this is Daybreak Africa, reaching you live on your number one platform, Television Nigerian. I'm Aisha Salihu.
And I am Priscilla Ajishla. Many welcomes and many thanks for joining us today. It's a beautiful Thursday morning and we are super excited to bring you information and entertainment on Daybreak Africa.
Of course, morning Priscilla.
Good morning, Aisha.
You look well rested.
You're looking beautiful.
Oh. Okay, so how have you been managing the whole heat wave situation?
Well, I'm trying to drink as much water as I can and trying not to wear anything too thick so it doesn't make me hot. That's mostly what I've been doing. And generally, I try to take as much bath as I can, as often as I can.
That's very correct. That's true, because in this country, you just have to find means to survive. So if we're battling heat waves right now, we have to find a way to create a balance.
Exactly.
So moving on to something more serious, something in the polity right now. You'd recall just yesterday, a high court sitting in Abuja actually suspended the chairman of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, which is Adams Oshomole, and it has raised a lot of eyebrows.
Exactly.
Some people are excited about it, while others are not all that excited.
Exactly.
And then the governor of our Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, also came out and described the suspension. He actually said, man is God, and described the suspension as though, for the longest time, he and Adams Oshomole has had this tussle.
Exactly.
More of a power tussle in Edo State. Who's the man in charge? Is it Adams Oshomole or the incumbent governor, Godwin Obaseki? But as it is now, the All Progressive Congress has, according to the court, Adams Oshomole has been suspended. How would you react to this? What can you make of all of this?
Well, personally, I know this whole thing started with the whole Bielsa situation, and then the fact that people felt like he incited the youths to perpetrate some kind of violent act. And personally, I feel like that's wrong. Even though he might say that that was not his intention, but it happened. And yes, this is the court, saying that he has been, suspended, and that is a fact. So yes, so we're just going to have to deal with it. He is going to have to deal
So
with it.
meanwhile, Adams Oshomole lodged his appeal against the judgment of the Abuja High Court, removing him from the position as the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress. And now I think definitely he has the right to lodge a complaint and appeal.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have I done so wrong? Why am I being suspended? What have I done? What have I done right? I think he needs the court to clarify him.
Well, that just shows us that there's more to come. There's more details to come. And personally, I just feel like as much as we are waiting on it, it's going to be a little bit dramatic.
Yeah, true. Well, it's Nigeria.
Of course.
I'm expecting more drama.
Exactly. And meanwhile, there's been some news on coronavirus. So as the coronavirus as pandemic proportions globally, the World Health Organization has warned that banknotes could aid the transmission of the infectious disease. And the United Nations body therefore counsels people to try as much as possible to go cashless.
Yeah, I think the United Nations is saying cashless society, cashless policy is what we should be doing right
But
now.
I shall think about it. Imagine I need to just pay 15 naira for a bike. Am I going to transfer the money?
I think you'd have to just say, okay,
Maybe everybody should have
Okadama,
POS.
give me your account
Everybody should
details.
start having their own personal POS and carrying it around.
Yeah, at point of service, you just go ahead and pay. You don't have to bring out cash. Well, but on a serious note though, this coronavirus outbreak is out there, is in our face, and it has affected a lot of African countries, although it is more in the Western world. But if the United Nations is coming out to say banknotes are one of the things, or one of the things that can actually aid the transmission of the infectious disease, it's only better and advisable that we're guided.
Yes, but then how much can we get? I literally have tons of banknotes in my bag. Am I going to quarantine them?
Not necessarily. I think it's just more about being conscious of your banknotes. You can still have your banknotes, but you have a wallet. You put them in a wallet.
Honestly, I'm just
because most people are very careless with cash, especially notes. What they do is they just put it somewhere. Some people even put it close to their bodies. Some people just drop it in their bags.
Yeah,
but I feel
know,
if you keep them properly, and then when you have to use them, you just use them the way you ought to use them, and then afterwards you go ahead and wash your hands. Remember, we keep talking about washing of hands and sanitizing hands. So if you go ahead and use it and wash your hands, I think The United Nations is just giving us heads up.
Okay, every time we come in contact with banknotes, we should go wash our hands. That makes some sense. Okay, we'll be conscious about that, because I don't even know how we're going to not get in contact with banknotes. It is not possible.
Right. Well, we cannot talk about everything right now, but we'd have to move over to headline news to know what we have there. Stay with us.
Can we see?
So much happening in the news.
As always.
Right. And then one very one that caught my attention, or what's happening right now, is the issue of coronavirus, the outbreak of coronavirus. You know, for the longest time, some people in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria, will tell you, are we really sure there's an outbreak of coronavirus in the country? Why? Because some people will tell you, okay, so according to reports, an Italian man aboard an aircraft headed to Nigeria, came into Lagos, and then some days after he took ill and he went to the hospital, he was quarantined, everything it was discovered that he had coronavirus, right? The disease. So if you're saying there's this person, you've identified the man, how come his face is not shown to the public, his name is not made public? So this is where some of these people are coming out from. Okay, so if we're saying there's an outbreak in the country, there's an actual outbreak in the country, how come we're not saying the name of this person?
Yeah.
Okay, because why I want to agree a bit with that is because, okay, maybe, who knows, I may have come in contact with this person, but because I do not know his name and I've not seen his face on TV, I may not know, okay, this is the person that came into the country with the coronavirus. So what do you think about the fact that his name is being concealed, his identity, we don't know his face and we don't know his name?
Well, personally, I feel like maybe he asked to be, to not be shown to the public or whatever. The thing is, coronavirus is a big deal, and maybe he does not want his name to be tainted in some way. Because fact is, if we know who this guy is, you know how us Nigerians are.
But then again, if you ask me, I think it's not left to him to choose whether he wants his face to be shown to the public or not. You've brought in a virus, a disease into the country, and if we're taking precautionary measures as regards safeguarding our own citizens, Nigerians here, it's only fair for us to know his name and his face.
Yes, because there's people that immediately they see him, they'll be conscious enough to know, okay, yes, I came in contact with this guy. Maybe I should go and, check myself. And then apart from that, there's also the fact that there's people he even came in contact with that will not recognize him. They will not recognize him. Just people he passed on the road or in the airport or whatever. So yes, it's a whole situation, and I just think the Nigerian government and the health institution just needs to be proactive about this.
Well, although the Minister of Health had actually come out to react to it and saying what all he had to say with regards to the identity of the Italian man who came into the country with the coronavirus. But my point now is it's only fair because I was seeing it in the news that the former president of the country, that's Olusegun Obasanjo, he was saying something like, okay, if we do not know the identity of this man and if they keep hiding his identity and all of that, okay, I want to meet him, I want to know him. Even if it means me contracting the disease or something, I want to meet him. I want to have a one-on-one with him. Let us even find out from him. Is it true that he actually came into the country? Although we've seen reports, we've seen some videos of, so blur images of someone standing behind a door and assumed a room, the room where he's been quarantined, where he's been kept. So now we want to actually know, is this according to the people who have actually made who have raised concerns with regards to the man's identity, his name and his face. So now they are more like, they want to know, they want to see him. Let us know, let us see this person. Let us see him. But I guess, well, no details yet about his identity. And then, okay, for the longest time now, we have 153 persons who were aboard the same aircraft with him when he came into the country. And now, you'd recall earlier in the week, the government did mention that they are trying to track these people. They're trying to track them. And then you also know that, okay, before now, about, I think 48 persons or that, or thereabout, that he had come in contact with in Ogun State, and then also the people he had come in contact with in Lagos State, although they were quarantined also, and then they were tested, checked, and then found out that they didn't have the virus. But what about these other 153 persons? Although, people have different symptoms to this coronavirus.
Exactly.
So if we do not find these 153 persons and then they've gone into the country, other states of the country, from Lagos to Abuja to Ogun State to maybe Maiduguri to Kano, Kaduna, what are we to expect? And then you'd recall there's still another case in Jos, Plateau State, although the governor came out to say everyone tested negative and all of that, but then there's still that issue of coronavirus.
And generally, because of this situation, there's some sort of unrest because everybody are like, where is this coronavirus? Is it right by my doorstep or whatever? So yes, the whole situation is a lot, and like I said before, I just think government needs to be proactive about this because this is no joke. And fact is, if it begins to spread and if it gets to the point where we start recording more cases of coronavirus, it's not going to be easy to handle. So now that we can still curb it, let's just work, towards that. And I like the fact that there's consciousness now, and everybody's conscious enough to know that yes, they need to protect themselves. And every day we're getting more and more information about what the coronavirus is like, and about how to protect ourselves and how to be conscious and how to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
Well, right. Like we always say on this program, it's not just about Nigeria. It's about Africa as a whole, and it's a bumper package. But on that note, let us go check out News Across Africa. Let us know the stories making the rounds in the African content. Stay with us.
Welcome to News Across Africa on Daybreak Africa. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned neighboring Somalia to desist from actions deemed as violations of its territorial integrity and sovereignty, multiple media outlets reported on Wednesday. Kenyatta's comments came after he chaired a special National Security Council session. The president is said to have alleged that actions of Somalia Army on 2nd March 2020 were in flagrant breach of Kenya's sovereignty. Reports earlier this week indicated that residents in Kenya's Mandera country were forced to flee following clashes between the Somali National Army and SNA and forces of its Jubaland region in the town of Bulahawa. In the middle of November last year, the two leaders met in Nairobi pledging to mend relations despite a ranging maritime boundary disagreement. Kenyatta and his Somali counterpart, Mohamed Abdullahi Farjamo, reaffirmed the invaluable relations between the two neighbors during a joint press conference after a closed-door meeting. The Central African Republic has moved to boost security with the recruiting of 1,000 police officers. The new officers attended a ceremony of the presentation of their country's flag upon graduation from a 45-day training. Bienvenue Zokwe, director of the National Police, told newsmen that the presentation under the flag gives young recruits a taste for knowing that their mission is to serve the nation and to defend the homeland. We have only one country, which is Central African Republic. Bruno Uyalo, director of the National Gendarmerie School, on his part said, this ceremony also allows these young people to be able to start the second phase of their training as a pupil gendarme, which is professional training. Several heads of states of different African countries have issued strong statements and taken actions to support their health, internal and foreign ministries and prevent the spread of the coronavirus within their territories. While most countries' coordination efforts are led by health practitioners responsible for testing, immigration officials who do screening at ports of entry and diplomats who coordinate efforts with international partners, several presidents have stepped in to demonstrate to the public their government's commitment to safety. Tanzania's President John Pombe Magufuli is no longer shaking hands, going by a picture shared by State House, which showed him exchanging a foot greeting with opposition politician Maalim Seif Sharif Hamad. The directive not to shake hands is one of several measures issued by Health Ministry to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The other measures, which have also been implemented by other governments around the world, include avoid hugging, kissing, and greeting people by hand to prevent the spread of the virus. Ethiopia on Tuesday accused the United States of being undiplomatic in its role facilitating talks between three countries on the Nile River over a giant dam. Ethiopia's remarks, which included a commitment to continue negotiations, comes amidst reports that U.S. President Donald Trump called his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, pledging his support. The United States has been enabling talks between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, set to become the largest hydropower plant in Africa. The $4 billion project has set Addis Ababa and Egypt at loggerheads since Ethiopia broke ground in 2011. Cairo worried that filling a huge reservoir too quickly could staunch the Nile's flow lower down. The U.S. Treasury Department stepped in last year after Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi put in a request to his ally, U.S. President Donald Trump. Last week, the Treasury Department said an agreement had been reached and urged Ethiopia to sign at the earliest possible time, and Egypt said it had signed the fair and balanced deal. But Ethiopia, which skipped the most recent rounds of talks, denied any deal had been agreed. And that is the much we have for you on News Across Africa on Daybreak Africa. The program continues in a moment.
If If you're just joining in, this is Daybreak Africa, and as always, it's reaching you live on television Nigeria platform. And we've been talking about news making the rounds in Nigeria and across Africa.
And at this point, I have to laugh because this thing with coronavirus and the fact that African leaders are beginning to, instead of shaking hands, shake legs.
I think they're trying to throw it lightly. They're trying to make a joke out of it. But then, apart from African leaders, I did see some videos making the rounds on social media about some Chinese guys, and I think they were the ones that even started this whole shaking legs instead of shaking hands. Because for the longest time, a lot of people now will tell you, please, I don't want to hug anybody. I don't want to shake hands with anybody. I don't want to even peck anybody. I don't want to do anything at all I want to do is just shake legs with you. And then it's funny if you ask me.
And then if you think about it, some people that have for the longest time they will like personal space, they don't really like shaking, or now this is their time,
right? Like this is the time, this is the time of their lives.
Exactly. Some people like personal space, they don't like being touched, because generally, even apart from coronavirus, let's face it, you don't know where this person's hand has been, and then you just go and shake the person's hand, and right after that you're busy, you're running to do something, and then you might want to eat, and then
you want to clean your eyes, you want to pop your nose or something, and then you don't know what you've carried with your hands. And then I think according to research, what I've heard about this coronavirus thing, it's very active. Even if it's on the desk and you use your hand to take part of the virus, it's very, very active. All you need to do to contract it, apart from it being on your hands, is just to put it in your mouth, or your hand in your mouth, or your eyes, or your nose, and then you've put it inside already. So I think we have to make conscious efforts. I know it's a joke that they have chosen to shake legs instead of hands, but then we should make more conscious efforts to a certain personal hygiene. And then we have to wash our hands, use hand sanitizers. We also have to, whenever we have to sneeze or cough, at least use a handkerchief.
Exactly. And I also saw some videos of some Chinese guys. One of them went to a barber shop, and the barber was using like a long stick. The clipper was at the end of the stick. They had a comb. He just combs and barbs and combs. And I'm like, wow.
You know, the thing is, one thing I like about people in general, not just Nigerians or anything, is the fact that whenever any situation comes up, how we create humor out of it.
Just make light of the situation, because fact is we must live.
Right. Yeah. And we have to laugh. We have so many things that we're dealing with. Exactly. So we have to live and we have to laugh. At the same time, we have to learn. So if you must do all of these, you just have to find something that works for you. And then I guess what works for these African leaders now is the fact that they've started to shake legs and not hands.
That is definitely great. And speaking of which, we're moving on to healthy living. And as much as we always like to bring you details on how to prevent stuff and how to protect yourself, today's healthy living is on the benefits of pawpaw. Me personally, I love pawpaw. I love it.
I remember when we were in primary school, we had a song. Oh, it's a kind of fruit.
But yes, let's move on to healthy living on television Nigeria. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Healthy Living. Today we'll be looking at papaya. Papaya grows in tropical climates and are also known as pawpaw. Their sweet taste, vibrant color, and the wide variety of health benefit they provide make them a popular fruit. The papaya, a previously exotic and rare fruit, is now available at most times of the year. The possible health benefits of consuming papaya include a reduced risk of health diseases, diabetes, cancer, aiding in digestion, improving blood glucose control in people with diabetes, lowering blood pressure, and improving wound healing. Papaya are a soft, freshly fruit that can be used in a wide varieties. Here we will be exploring more on the health benefits, use, how to incorporate more of them into your diet, and what nutritional value papaya have. Your immune system acts as a shield against various infections that can make you really sick. A single papaya contains more than 200% of your daily requirement of vitamin C, making it great for your immunity. Papaya is an excellent food option for diabetes as it has a lower sugar content even though it is sweet to taste. Also, people who don't have diabetes can eat papaya to prevent it from happening. Papaya is rich in vitamin A, which help protect your vision from degenerating. Nobody wants to lose their ability to see due to a disease like age-related. And eating papaya will ensure that you do not lose a day where you cannot see. Arthritis can be a disease, and people who have it may find their quality of life reduced significantly. Eating papaya are good for your bones as they have anti-inflammatory properties along with vitamin C, which helps in keeping various forms of arthritis at bay. Eating a papaya daily can make up for such occasional mistakes as it has a digestive enzyme known as papain along with fiber, which helps in improving your digestive health. Women who experience menstrual pain should help themselves to several serving of papaya as enzyme called papain helps in regulating and easing flow during menstrual periods. Those looking to lose weight must include papaya in their diet as it is very low in cholesterol. The fiber contained in papaya leaves you feeling full and also clears your bowel movement, making your weight loss easier. That is the much we have for you on Healthy Living on Daybreak Africa. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Television Nigeria for more healthy tips.
That's definitely pawpaw, healthy living on pawpaw, and the benefits of consuming
yes.
pawpaw.
And I like the fact that he said it clears your bowel. You know, bowel treatment and all is something that a lot of people take very seriously.
Now, I'm very particular about the fact that it helps boost your immune system. Yeah, I understand the bowel thing too, because for the longest time, if you have constipation or something, you need something, congestion, so stomach congestion, you need something to take to just ease you. So if pawpaw is there, I'm preferring that solution. Why do we even have to go the orthodox way, going to get flagyl or tetracycline or whatever, or Mistmag or whatever you people take to clear their bowels? But pawpaw is there. It's a natural remedy. It's a fruit. It's something you should definitely
it's
keep.
Also delicious, so why not?
I remember, when we were in primary school, they do sing that song. Pawpaw is a kind of fruit, sweet, like, and all of that. So
there were a lot of songs about pawpaw growing up.
So and then I was always wondering, what is it about this pawpaw? But according to what I just heard now, I think pawpaw is one special fruit.
It is definitely special. And speaking of special, we're moving on to talking about Africa and the fact that Africa is beautiful and special and the fact that we always strive no matter what the situation is. Now we're going to the 10 most beautiful cities in Africa. Do stay tuned. Well, it seems like that report is taking a while, but talking about Africa and the fact that it's beautiful.
Right.
What's your favorite place to visit in Africa?
If you ask me, I think it would be South Africa. South Africa. I've heard of Sun City, and then I don't know. I've seen pictures. I've seen people going on vacation and vacation in the Sun City.
Personally, where I want to go to is Egypt. I feel like Egypt has so much culture, so much history. You get, and I would love to go to Egypt.
Right, that's true. And then I heard about Morocco too, and I'm like, okay, Africa is indeed beautiful. I mean, a lot of people, for the longest time, a lot of people, even from the West, the people from the Western world, they would love to come to Nigeria. They want to see our culture. They want to experience our food. Even fellow Africans, Lupita Nyong'o, Oscar award-winning Lupita Nyong'o was in Nigeria, and then she celebrated her birthday in Nigeria. And then I'm wondering, okay, there is that African unity and synergy, and then it's just amazing. Wow. Africa is beautiful.
Africa is definitely amazing, and we're not wasting any time. We're moving right into this report. 10 most beautiful cities in Africa. Do stay tuned.
In as much as Africa is perceived as the poorest continent in the world, there are some cities on the continent that would make you want to have a second thought about the general perception. These cities can rub shoulders with some big cities of the world such as Madrid, Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, Paris, and even Tokyo. Let's take a look at the top 10 cities that made the list of top 10 most beautiful cities in Africa. Luanda, Angola. Capital of Africa's second largest oil producer, Luanda, is home to the nation's main seaport and administrative center. In the past decade, this city has achieved the most development among any city in Africa with the help of China International Trust and Investment Corporation (CITIC). Luanda is looking more like a Western country. Agadir, Morocco. Capital of Agadir, Ida Otanen province. Agadir is one of the major urban cities of Morocco. The city has been rebuilt after the 1960 earthquake. It is now Morocco's largest seaside resort, attracting tourists from all over the world. Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, Kenya's largest city and capital. Nairobi is the most populous city in Eastern Africa, and it is one of the leading cities in Africa both politically and economically. Cape Town, South Africa. Cape Town is famous for its harbour, Table Mountain, and Cape Point. It is the most popular international tourist destination in South Africa. Cairo, Egypt, the home of civilization. Cairo is Egypt's capital and the largest city in the Middle East and second largest in Africa after Lagos. This city was named the world's 24-hour city in 2011 by Bador ahead of New York and Paris. Port Louis, Mauritius. The capital city of Mauritius, Port Louis, is one of Africa's main financial centers. This city is mostly overshadowed by its financial hub, tourism, manufacturing sector, and port facilities. This nation's languages include English and French. Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Former capital, richest and largest city in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam is the major city for both business and government in Tanzania. Abuja, Nigeria. Nigeria's capital, Abuja, was built in the 80s before disposing Lagos as the capital city of the most populous black nation in the world by the administration of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, IBB, in 1991. The city is one of the richest and most expensive in Africa. 2. Tunis, Tunisia. Tunis is both the capital and the largest city of Tunisia. The greater metropolitan area of Tunis, often referred to as Grand Tunis, holds some 2.7 million inhabitants. As the capital city of the country, Tunis is the focus of Tunisian political and administrative life. It is also the center of the country's commercial activity. Johannesburg, South Africa. By population, Johannesburg is the largest and wealthiest city in South Africa. Called Africa's economic powerhouse, this city is also the largest economy of any metropolitan region in sub-Saharan Africa. Africa is beautiful and vast, and it is growing every day.
Well, Africa is indeed beautiful, and in case you have plans to travel, around Africa, now you know places that you should definitely
I
visit.
saw Tanzania, I saw South Africa, and then I saw Abuja.
Yeah, beautiful Nigeria. Even though a lot is going on that we do not like, but the fact is Africa is beautiful and Africa is amazing. And on that
Regardless.
note, we're moving on to more juicy, crazy, exciting. This is a segment I like to call entertainment segment, and it is always fun, it is always exciting. So yes, we're moving on to Posh Pie's entertainment news on television Nigeria. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, but since Posh Spice is not
taking
ready,
a while.
it's taking a while. So
Particularly, let me tell you something. It's gist, gossip.
I know you have it, you've got it.
I
So
always go it.
pour it.
So, something. Bama and Teddy just had a baby. And I am super excited. I think Bama and Teddy are just making me happy every day. Fact is, while they were in the Baby Ninja house, I was not their biggest fan. I just thought Teddy
No,
was...
the thing is, everyone just thought Teddy was too acting. He was not manly enough. He was weak.
acting too manly, and that was now making him look like it was like, why? If you're a man,
No, the fact that he even had to cry. You know, when Bam Bam left the house, he cried, he was shedding tears.
No, that was actually the factor I started liking him. The point.
Well, okay.
When he cried, I was like, oh, so there's some human in this guy. Because he used to treat her like, you know, I'm a man, I'm an alpha male. He used to have that whole alpha male thing. And I feel like sometimes it just makes you seem very insensitive when you're trying to be alpha male. You're trying to be like, oh yeah, this is me, you know. And he always used to do that. He even used to kind of separate himself from the other guys and then act like, you know, he's the alpha male. You guys just...
But away from the
guys.
house, when they came out of the house, I saw their relationship. It was beautiful.
Yeah, they blossomed. Because honestly, especially at some point when the situation with them having sex, you know, people were coming at Bam Bam, blah 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 blah, sleeping with Teddy in the River and Nigeria house and all of that. And eventually, when they came out, you know, all of that, and then now came to a point where they're together, they're getting married, having a baby. It's like their love story just keeps getting better. You know, just keeps getting better and better. I remember around the time they were getting married, I saw the pictures. I was like, mad.
And then the whole wedding thing, it was like an exclusive reserved to certain people. If you're not invited, you're not getting there.
And then at this point, let's get to more juiciness, more crazy entertainment on Posh Pies. This is Posh Pies Entertainment News on Television Nigerian, and I am Priscilla Jishla. Here you get the best lowdown on all of the juiciest stories making the rounds on social media and generally. So yes, first off, Toyin Lawani says acting can't pay her bills. The budding entrepreneur and fashionista made a post on Instagram that read in part, I get a lot of scripts but I pass them on because it's very tasking and the money is not friendly when I can sit at my empire and make it in an hour. She also went on to say that Nigeria is blessed to have a star like her. Forget, when I go miss me cause Hollywood don't jack me, so bye. According to her, she said she might be, you know, moving to Hollywood. She also talked about acting and the fact that it's very tasking, and also talked about the fact that she makes stars and the fact that she being an entrepreneur has really brought her to the fore and into the limelight. Alright, so DJ Copy is waiting for artists to send their vocals for her EP. She made a post on Instagram which read, me waiting for artists to send their vocals in so I can submit my EP. Hashtag original copy, she wrote. She also hinted having a Grammy-winning singer on her EP, that is Before Now. And yes, her EP is one that everybody's waiting for. We're waiting for her to bring some of that gelato vibe so we can enjoy ourselves again. So now, Baby Niger star Sheyi Awolowo is sharing something he learned from his father. He made a post on Instagram with the caption, something I learned from my grandfather. Not every time be in people's face and act busy. Sometimes you have to stay at the corner to observe and do some critical thinking. And I totally agree with him. Sometimes just, you know, stay in your lane, just stay out of the limelight, stay out of all the gossip, stay out of all the drama and just do you. So yes, another Baby Niger star that is having, you know, the chance to be in the news is Elozunam. He recently celebrated his birthday with a new music video. Yes, he made his rap debut. I don't know if this is his rap debut, but he made, you know, a rap video and it is actually quite fun. And he posted it on Instagram and with the caption, and we made a music video, happy birthday to @ the smiling heart and I. Thanks to everyone who showed up for the video, 34 pounds to make it pop. So yes, in the video he had a couple of other people that just stars, including Benita, EK, Sheyi, and even Kim Oprah. But yes, Diane was not in the video, but she shared the cutest message. She wrote, happy birthday Elozunam. It took me a week plus to learn that name. Anyways, I can proudly say I pronounce it better than you. I don't know what to say. Cracking my head, trying to come up with the right words. Yes, definitely wishing Elozunam a happy birthday there. Now, so Michael Jackson's youngest son buys a $2 million mansion. So yes, Michael Jackson's last son, Blanket Jackson, has gotten for himself a mansion worth $2 million with 6 bedrooms, 7 and and they have baths in highbrow Calabasas, California. The mansion has a killer backyard, there's a pool, spa, outdoor kitchen, and covered patio. And since turning 18 years old and moving out of his grandmother's house, he's definitely doing quite well for himself. Now that's about it on this episode of Posh Pies Entertainment News. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't worry, God loves you. Well, a lot of BB Niger housemates in the news, from Elizuna, Diane, to Shay. What do you think about what he said about, just, hiding from all the nonsense, sometimes just taking your time?
I think for the longest time, I like to think Shay is a bit matured. You get? And the fact that he comes from a real background, I think he lets that play. He carries himself in that manner. And then for him coming out to say all of these that he has said, I think it's quite good. It's encouraging.
It's actually very, very interesting. And then Michael Jackson's son buying a $2 million mansion in
Calabasas. I was just asking you, what's the thing about this Calabasas? Is it like it's a rich people area?
Probably.
That is where rich people, the people who
the
are
rich, the influential, But that's actually very, very nice. But particularly, he's Michael Jackson's, I think it's Michael Jackson's last son. And he's actually, I've not really seen that much about him in the news, ever.
And now that he's coming into the news, he's coming
He
hard,
just turned 18
big.
and he's buying a $2 million mansion. The fact that when you have a parent,
that
Michael
left
Jackson,
something for you.
you cannot be broke again.
It's just like Kobe Bryant and his family. I don't think they would ever go broke.
And that is great. That just tells you that if you work hard enough, you're not working hard for just yourself.
Of course.
Even for the people you live
You'd
behind.
recall when Cardi B came to Nigeria and then she granted our interview. She was saying she's going to keep hustling and hustling and hustling. Why? Because she has Stormy now and she doesn't want culture. She has culture now, baby culture, and she doesn't want a situation where culture turns 16 and culture doesn't drive her own car, culture doesn't have her own house. And then I'm like, okay, this is actually someone thinking about the future.
But the thing is, here in Nigeria, the only thing the parents do for you is pay your school fees, and after that they're like, go into the world and multiply.
And that's what I think our parents are, where they're making that mistake. They are supposed to be responsible for us, right? Although as much as they want us to have our own source of livelihood, we should go ahead and make our own money. But then we should work hard. They're encouraging hard work and all of that. But then, as our parents, I feel there are levels to encouraging hard work. If you create that environment where we are comfortable and then we can go ahead and work hard to have certain things that we do not already have. That's just what Cardi B is saying.
Exactly, and it's actually great. I mean, fact is that a lot of people that have parents that left on for them, or parents that are doing well, they end up doing well because at least they have the financial part sorted. So yes, when they have an idea or they have a career or something, they're not struggling for money.
Although we still have some spoiled brats, some rich kids
but
that are very
But I would
spoiled.
like to argue that these days rich kids do way better than average kids. They do way better. Look, people like Davido, if you go to Instagram, people that flourish on Instagram are rich kids, even generally on social media, and they always find a way to make money out of that.
And I think it's more like they've set a precedent for you, so you just have to follow. You cannot afford to falter or go lower. You have to keep going high because your parents did this. It's just like if you're talking about Dangote's children or Otedola's children or Mike Adeniga. They have to strive harder than their parents did.
So that's definitely.
And then another story that caught my attention there is that of Elozunam and Diane. When they were in the house, I thought they had a chemistry. I thought they were going to date, maybe when they step out of the house. And then if you recall, when they were in the house, Elo was very protective of Diane. He was overprotective of her, and then he kept on getting jealous and feeling insecure. And then a lot of Nigerians were like, okay, Elo, you're not even dating this person. You've not even asked her out. You don't have the balls. You've not had the guts to go ahead and ask her out. How come you're so overprotective of her? And then all of that went away. They came out of the house. Well, I really had hopes for them. I thought they were going to date.
You never know. They might be dating. They might just be keeping it under wraps. They might just be hiding it from the public.
Okay, how come she didn't turn up at his birthday?
It was just a music video. It was not necessarily his birthday. That doesn't. It might have been that right after a music video, he spent the rest of the day with her. but we didn't see that batch. You get so yes.
No. But the thing is, the way we always keep saying Diane and EK or Diane and any other person coming out on social media, we've never really seen Elo and Diane like that.
That's enough reason for me to wonder.
Maybe they are dating,
and they're just hiding it.
or maybe they are not dating. So the thing is, we're trying to gossip here, and we don't know. We're going to have these questions coming up,
but we're keeping our eyes on them. We're going to find out soon enough. People think you can hide this from us.
You can't. Nah, we're in your faces. We're in your business. We can't hide it.
On that note, we'd like to end the show. It's been a beautiful time on Daybreak Africa. I personally had an amazing time. I hope you did. And Aisha,
yeah,
out, right?
Of course. It was all chills all through the program. But then before we go, just very quickly, we'd love for you to follow us across all of our social media platforms. And as always, on Twitter, it's TV Nigerian. On Facebook, it's Television Nigerian. And on YouTube, it's Television Nigerian. We'd love to hear from you. Our website is www.tvn.news. You have to go over there and check out all of our programs. You are not going to be disappointed.
It's going to be an amazing time as long as you're on any TVN platform. So yes, at this juncture, I'm Priscilla Adesha. I do have an amazing day.
And I'm Aisha Salihu. Have a blessed day ahead.